If making caramel intimidates you, you're in the right place because that's what we are fixing today. Let's get started. Hi, my name is Shivesh. I'm a baker, author, and this is my how-to series. This is the ultimate beginner's guide to getting your baking basics right. I'll be talking about everything from whipping cream to chocolate ganache, caramel, and so much more. A quick disclaimer before we start, you need to be very careful while you're making caramel because you're dealing with such hot temperatures. Keep your equipment and your ingredients ready because having an organized workspace helps you carry out your process smoothly and safely. So you may have heard of two types of caramel, wet caramel and dry caramel, but there's a third type which is called the hard caramel that we use to make brittles and sugar shards and all of that. But today we are focusing on wet caramel and how to use that to make the world's best caramel sauce. Let's get started. So let's start by talking about what kind of pan you need to use to make your caramel. So it's always better to use something with a heavy bottom so that your sugar doesn't burn easily. Now if you're making a large quantity, I would suggest you do it in a deep saucepan so that even if there's splatters, you don't end up burning yourself. But I am making it in this flat pan today because I want you guys to be able to see the process easily, and also because having a wider surface area is always helpful because it ensures I can spread my sugar in one single layer. If you're using something which is too small and your sugar granules are overlapping each other, the chances of sugar crystallizing and your caramel seizing will be more. So this works. Here's a list of things you'll need. 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1/3 cup of water, 3/4 cup of fresh cream and 2 tablespoons of butter. So I'm using granulated sugar to make my caramel. If you want, you could also use superfine sugar, but don't make your caramel with icing sugar or powdered sugar because it has impurities like corn flour which would inhibit caramelization. So granulated sugar into the pan. So I'll spread the sugar evenly into my pan. And onto this I'm adding the water. This ensures my sugar cooks evenly and slowly and my caramel doesn't burn. Now I'll continue to cook my water and sugar mixture on low-medium heat without stirring, which could cause all the sugar crystals to come together and make your caramel hard and cloudy. So the best way to treat this is to just tilt your saucepan from side to side. Now besides not stirring, some other things you can do to make sure your caramel doesn't crystallize is ensure all the equipment that you're using is perfectly clean and your sugar should have no impurities. If you feel like your sugar has some impurities, I would suggest you open a new packet of sugar and make your caramel with that. If you still feel like your caramel is crystallizing, you could add a little bit of acid like lemon juice and that would ensure that your sugar and water mixture remains fluid. Now what happens a lot of times is that once the water starts boiling, you will end up noticing some sugar crystals along the sides of the pan. The best way to get rid of that is use a wet pastry brush and just wash those sugar crystals down the walls of your pan. So always cook your caramel on low or medium heat. Since the sugar needs to cook slowly and evenly, cranking up the heat too high might burn your caramel, and honestly there's no coming back from that. The burnt taste and smell in caramel is so strong that you really can't do anything to get rid of it. And also because we're not using any thermometer, that's another reason to be extra careful and keep an eye on your caramel. And I'm going to watch the color carefully so that I know how much my caramel has cooked. You'll start noticing the change of color first in the center. Look how the sugar is turning golden, and this is exactly what we're looking for. So my caramel has reached a nice amber color, which means my caramel is cooked perfectly. One trick to check whether your caramel has reached that amber color or not is to take a little bit of it and put it on a white plate to check its true color. Don't take it off the heat if your caramel still looks too transparent or pale. But remember, once your caramel reaches that amber color, it could burn very quickly. Since the temperature right now is so high, the sugar will continue to cook even after you put it off heat. My caramel is off the heat, and into this I'll add the cream. I'm using fresh cream here, but you could also make caramel with heavy cream. Now one thing to keep in mind before you add the cream is to ensure that it's warm. Now the sugar is so hot that you need to maintain those even temperatures. If you end up adding cold cream, your sugar will seize and you'll have to do the entire procedure from scratch. Now this is when you need to be extra careful because once you add your cream, your caramel will bubble aggressively. Just maintain a safe distance and keep mixing. Once it calms down a little, we'll bring the caramel back on low-medium heat and cook it again for a couple of minutes. Now technically the wet caramel is ready, but I love adding some butter into mine because it really enhances the flavor and taste of my caramel. So with the heat on medium, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of butter and mix it in as well. So my caramel sauce is ready and it's absolutely delicious. Now because I use salted butter, I haven't added any extra salt into it. But if you like, you could add a pinch of sea salt and a teaspoon of vanilla extract to make it even better. And now this is my preferred consistency of caramel sauce. If you want a thicker caramel sauce, you could add less cream and cook the caramel for longer. And if you want a thinner caramel sauce, you could add more cream and cook it for a lesser time. Now you can store your caramel in a closed jar or in a bowl in the fridge for about 10 to 15 days, and there are like a million things you can do with it. You can use it to make milkshakes, pour it over ice creams, fill your cupcakes, decorate your cakes and make other desserts like cheesecakes and brownies. The possibilities are honestly endless. So this is how you make the perfect caramel sauce at home. I hope this video helped you conquer all your caramel fears, and I also hope you've been enjoying the how-to series episodes. Keep watching and stay tuned because I'll keep coming to you with new episodes and we'll talk more about the how-tos of baking. Also, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and share it with all your friends. I'll see you guys soon. Until then, happy baking and take care.